everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Andrea and it's nice to have you guys here. I'm just flipping to the page in my bullet journal that I need. So this starts the kind of first of all the travel related videos. So yay! We are finally in the final countdown to London, and I won't lie, I'm still nervous and anxious, but I'm also starting to get excited. Yay! And part of the nervousness stems from having flight anxiety. So I thought I would talk about dealing with travel and flight anxiety. So flight anxiety and travel anxiety in general. Some of these will work no matter what mode of transportation you're taking, and then some will be specifically kind of flight related. So I'm going to kind of be referring to everything in terms of flying and dealing with airports, but a lot of this could be extended to trains, buses, dealing with large crowds in general, that sort of thing. So I have flown a number of times. I mean, I've been flying since I was little. I was born in Germany and moved back and forth to the States a few times, and so starting at a young age I was doing, long haul flights. But when I was little, I was with my parents, and you feel like your parents are invincible, and so flight anxiety really wasn't a thing I struggled with when I was younger. Because I used to think that I was actually a really good flyer. And then I started going back and forth to the UK on a more regular basis, and yeah, I've had some rough flights, I've had a lot of turbulence, I've had some really kind of scary landings that probably felt scarier for me as a passenger than they actually were. So the flight anxiety has definitely gotten worse over, I'd say, the last 3 years. So I've had to start developing some tips and some coping strategies for it. Traveling with someone generally helps me. It generally keeps my flight anxiety and my travel anxiety down because I know I've got someone else there, and so that person usually acts as kind of comforting presence. It just keeps me less stressed. But when I'm traveling by myself, then I'm kind of stuck. And so I'm getting ready to travel by myself. The last time I went to London back in January, I was traveling with my mom and my sister, and so that kept the anxiety at bay. But now I'm going to be on my own again, and I'm not gonna lie, I am a little bit nervous about that. So some of the tips that I have found that do help is, one, research the airports that you're going to be flying out of. Knowing the arrivals area is a little less important because I feel once I've touched down on the other end, my anxiety isn't as bad. But when I'm taking off and leaving and departing where I'm from, and then when I'm departing from the city that I'm visiting, doing some research ahead of time to know what the airports are like, know where things are at, and to find something to kind of look forward to. Here at Phoenix Sky Harbor, I always fly out at the same gate. I know where the Starbucks is, and that Starbucks, for some reason, always has a different selection of pastries than the Starbucks here around my neighborhood. So that always gives me a little something to look forward to. Flying out of Heathrow, when I come home, there's so many shops, and I know that there'll be another Cafe Nero, and there'll be another of other favorite restaurants, and so it gives me something else to think about, to know what shopping and restaurants will be at the airport when I'm departing, to kind of plan how I'm going to spend my airport time. Another tip is to arrive at the airport early. I mean, they say that anyway. I never try to push that. I always get there ahead of the recommended time. So like for international flights, they always recommend at least 2 hours ahead of time. I usually get there like 2.5 hours, so that I've got plenty of time to get through checking my bag and get through security and make the hike down to where the gate is, because it is a bit of a walk from security, and then also have time to sit and relax and have something at Starbucks and kind of enjoy that time. And my anxiety gets worse if I'm running late, so I'd rather leave early and have time to kill at the airport, which is why doing some research about where you can sit and hang out and what you can eat or drink and finding something to look forward to at the airport is really good. When you're booking your flight, and this can apply to, like I said, trains and buses and stuff, you'll have to kind of do your research for seating, but I always try to get a direct flight if I can. I can't remember the last time I've had a connecting flight, because to me it's worth the extra money to get a direct flight than to deal with the stress of layovers and connections. I would say if you do have to get a connecting flight, try to have enough time in between so that you're not racing, because that, I know that would just make me super anxious if I knew that I was only going to have like 40 minutes between my connecting flights, and then what if the first flight is late, and what if I don't know my way around the airport. So, and if you do end up with a connection, definitely research the airport that you're doing the connection in and figure out where, you know, have a map, have a picture of it on your phone so that you can pull that up and know as soon as you get off the plane where you need to go, depending on where you fly into. Definitely try to get direct travel if you can, because connections and layovers and that can add to the stress. And then also for airplanes, sit as close to the middle as possible. I never realized how much of a difference it really made, but now looking back, all the times that I had really bad turbulence, I was sitting at the back of the plane. And the back of the plane is kind of like the back of the bus. If you've ever sat in the back row or the back couple rows of a bus, you know that you feel every bump even more than you do if you're sitting towards the front of the bus. So if you sit towards the back of the airplane, you are going to have more turbulence. There are, in my mind, pluses to sitting in the back of the airplane, but now that I know how bad the turbulence is, because I've now a couple times recently sat near the middle, closer to the wings, and had like no turbulence. And I don't think it was because there just wasn't any turbulence. I really think it, and they have said, like, you feel it more in the back of the plane. So try to sit towards the middle if you know that turbulence is something that really freaks you out. I'm okay with turbulence up to a point. When it feels like it's just dropped out from underneath you, that's my limit, and I have had that. So I definitely do try to sit nearer to the middle of the plane now. Next tip, keep busy. So plan your entertainment, bring books, movies on a tablet or your laptop, make sure all of your devices are charged, bring an extra battery so that if you start running low on a charge, you can charge it back up. Bring magazines, bring a journal. I always bring way more in my carry-on to keep me busy for the flight than I actually need. Some airlines, I know British Airways does this, I can look it up through their app, but I could probably do it on the website. I can log in and see what movies are currently playing in the in-flight entertainment system, as well as what TV shows, what music offerings. And so scrolling through that like the night or so before I fly and making kind of a mental note of what I want to make sure to watch can give me something to look forward to. If I know, oh, they've got this movie and I didn't get to see it in the theater, like, it gives me something to look forward to and not dread about the flight. Plan for all of that. Plan your activities, plan your entertainment, bring a book, pick a book before you leave that you are just so excited and can't wait to read, and then that can help you kill a good amount of time while you're flying. Bring snacks and extra water. You know, there will be food provided, but you never know if it's really going to be that appealing. The last thing you want to do is end up having a meal that is just not appetizing, and so you don't get to eat as much as you kind of need, and then you're starving. So I always pack lots of snacks, lots of different kinds of snacks, some healthy, some not so healthy. Just something to look forward to. There are certain foods that it's like, they're perfect for airplane food. And when I fly home from the UK, I usually always have at least one bag of Percy Pigs from Marks and Spencer in my carry-on as a little treat for the flight home. And also extra water. So I always get a big bottle of water once I'm through security. When you're on the plane, they will bring you water and juice or whatever anytime you want, but it's just kind of nice to have my own bottle and have that. And then it gives me something to kind of track how much I'm drinking throughout the flight so I don't get too dehydrated. So bring snacks and water. Next thing, bring anything that will help you be comfortable and stay calm. So that could be a favorite blanket. I always bring a cozy kind of blanket scarf with me. Even if I fly in the summer, I still will bring some kind of scarf or wrap for the flight, even if I know I'm probably not going to use it once I get there. So something like that can be really helpful. A neck pillow or a travel pillow. I'm not big on fidget spinners, but I did recently see a friend of mine has a fidget cube. And I'm tempted to make a last minute order on Amazon for one. Something that can just keep you busy. I have a charm bracelet that I take with me every time I travel, and my favorite little stuffed squirrel. It used to be an ornament, but I clipped off the little ornament loop, and he's my travel buddy, and that's a whole separate story, and I should tell you that story at some point, but not in this video. But he's kind of like my little travel buddy, and I wouldn't say good luck charm, but he just makes me happy and keeps me calm. So during takeoff and landing especially, I hold that charm bracelet and the squirrel in my hand. And one of the charms has a glass kind of bubble that works as kind of a worry stone, so I can just kind of run my thumb over the top of that, and it keeps me calm. So my takeoff and landing routine is pretty much to be holding those two items and have my headphones in with music on. So bring your headphones, earplugs. A great hack if you can't afford the fancy over-ear noise canceling headphones is get a cheaper pair of over-ear headphones. The over-ear is important, not the in-ear ones. Over-ear. I got my pair in Oxford for, I want to say like £13, so I know you can find a decent pair for under $20. When you get the over-the-ear headphones, you can put foam earplugs in your ears and then the headphones over that. You will still be able to hear your music, but the other noise around you is greatly diminished. If you do that though, my one other tip is when you go to take them off, leaving the headphones on and your music playing, take one earplug out and then replace the headphone, and then take the other earplug out like 30 seconds later and cover it back up, and then eventually take it off. If you just turn the music off and take everything out and earplugs out, it's gonna sound way louder than you remembered it before. So it is actually a pretty good trick and a great hack if you can't afford the fancy noise canceling headphones, but it does really work. So be careful when you take everything off and take the earplugs out, because it will be super loud. But bringing stuff like that, a face mask if you're trying, like a eye mask if you're gonna try to sleep on the plane, anything that will keep you comfortable, relaxed, calm, bring that with you. Next thing is, and this is kind of the last tip, create an in-flight routine. Even if you've never flown before, and you might never fly again after the trip you're getting ready for, still create a routine for yourself. This could involve a beauty routine. It doesn't have to. So my in-flight routine does include a small beauty routine at the start and at the end of the flight, but it's also more, I kind of know that I've got my takeoff and landing routine at the beginning and end. So having my little squirrel, having my charm bracelet, having my favorite song playing on my headphones. It usually is Photograph by Ed Sheeran. Just love that song, and it keeps me really calm and really relaxed. So having a favorite song on repeat until you're kind of all the way in the air or all the way back on the ground is really good. Once we're in the air, then the next part of the routine is they come around and do the drink service. So as I'm waiting for that, I'm usually scrolling through the in-flight entertainment, picking out what film I'm going to start watching, and then I watch a film during the drink service and then the dinner service. Might start watching a second film depending on the length of the films that I choose. And then usually after the dinner service is done, I get up, I go to the bathroom. Then at that point, dinner service is done and they're turning off the lights on the particular flight that I always fly. This routine works for me, and it's become a routine because I always take the same flight. So I leave Phoenix at about 7:40 at night, we fly overnight, and we land the next day at about 1:30 London time. So it kind of works out so that I eat dinner, I drinks dinner while I watch a movie, go to the bathroom, do my beauty routine, and so that's usually I'm not wearing makeup. I don't wear makeup when I fly, maybe just some eye makeup. So removing my eye makeup, using micellar water on my face just to kind of clean off any grime from the day, putting on a face mask and some eye cream, really packing in hydration onto my skin. And then I put in my headphones and put on my eye mask, and I try to sleep. Not always successful, so the backup plan is to watch a movie during that time or a couple more movies, but I do try to sleep. And then when I wake up, whatever time that is, I usually have enough time to watch one more film while breakfast is being served, and then I kind of clean my face again with the micellar water, put on moisturizer, serums, all of that stuff, and then a little bit of makeup for when I arrive, because I don't want to go through customs and then be on the tube or in a taxi and getting to my hotel just looking completely a mess. So I do try to perk my face up a little bit for when I land. And then usually by that point we're coming in for the final approach and they're telling us to put up our trays and all that stuff, and so then I go back to my landing routine with the squirrel and the charm bracelet and putting my music back on. So yeah, those are just my kind of general tips. Definitely having an overall routine for the flight really helps. Knowing how I'm going to spend each of those 10 hours, because it is a long flight, and having a backup for if I can't sleep definitely helps and just makes the flight a little bit smoother and feel a little bit better. So I'm gonna stop rambling. If you've got tips of your own, please leave them in the comments. I would love to hear them. If there's anything that I haven't mentioned that has worked for you, please put it in the comments and I will try to use that tip on this flight. Subscribe if you are not subscribed. I'd love to have more people following along on this journey. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you did find it helpful, that would be great. Or tell me in the comments if you found it helpful. And I will see you all soon in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.